Welcome back to Sports Talk with Jordan. I'm joined by Jacob, and we're going to be discussing the Mets this February. I know the MLB is in lockout, but the season could start soon, although there may be some games cut out of the season. So we're going to be talking about the Mets, who on paper look pretty good. Jacob, what's your opinion on the Mets hitting and pitching going into the season, starting with hitting?
I think the Mets did absolutely awesome this offseason. I think this will absolutely carry on into the regular season. On the hitting side of the ball, they brought in key hitters Starling Marte and Mark Canha. And pitching, they brought in the big name this offseason, Max Scherzer. They're going to do great, and I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. They brought in a replacement for Michael Conforto, who it's sad to see go, but you need some new faces sometimes. So that's who Mark Canha is. They brought in Eduardo Escobar, who could be an increase on defense. Maybe if McNeil does not come back, he can play second base too. And they brought in Max Scherzer too, which I do believe is the Mets' biggest signing and the biggest signing of all time in the MLB. So the Mets seem stacked on paper, but last year they seemed stacked on paper. But what matters is what happens on the field. Jacob deGrom could be injured. They do have some injuries. So what do you expect from Jacob deGrom this season?
I see great things out of deGrom, really great things, but as you said before, you're absolutely right. All that matters is what happens in the season, and I'm nervous to see if the Mets can come through this season.
Yeah, if the Mets don't come through this season, it might be time to restart, trade away the team, and just start with some younger players, kind of what other teams are doing. Because they've tried this philosophy of bringing in big names multiple times, and so far unsuccessful, considering last year they came in a terrible place, I think fourth, and the year before they were tied for last on the final game of the 60-day season. So what matters is how they play on the field, not how they look on paper. With Jacob deGrom, though, I do believe that he should stay healthy. The Mets have new trainers, I think, so maybe they can help him stay healthy. Maybe he can change something in his mechanics to help his elbow more. So on the Mets hitting side, who do you think is going to be the biggest breakout player of the year?
Definitely Eduardo Escobar. He's coming in, and people aren't thinking a lot of him, but what people don't know is with the Diamondbacks in 2019, he had 30 home runs and 120 RBIs. Everyone knows Starling Marte is going to come in and play well, but I'm not so sure people know it about Eduardo Escobar, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season.
Right, I completely agree. Because I'm sticking with someone else, though. I believe the biggest breakout player will be Brandon Nimmo. Last year, he was severely underrated. He did not hit for much power and home runs, but if you wanted to walk, you wanted to bring in some runs, Nimmo was the guy. He was probably the most consistent player on the Mets offense. So I'm excited to see what Brandon Nimmo can bring to the field this year. So now on to the coaching. As we talked about in the last Talking Mets, we talked about how the Mets got Billy Epler as their general manager and Buck Showalter as their normal manager. However, now we're going to be talking about the hitting and pitching coach, starting with pitching. So, Jacob, what do you think about Jeremy Hefner?
I like him. I think he was a good signing, and I think as the pitching coach, I think he's going to do well, and I think he's going to really help this franchise. I've always liked him, and I think he's going to be helpful.
Completely agree. Last year, the Mets pitching was great, especially in the first half. Maybe he can improve on some guys' mechanics to make them more consistent. But Edwin Diaz, for example, who people did not expect to be great, was great. deGrom was great as normal, but as long as he can keep everyone healthy and pitching well, I'm okay with him. So now on to the newer coach, Eric Chavez. What do you think about Eric?
I don't like Eric Chavez. Originally, I thought he was a good signing, but I'm not so sure he's going to be the right fit. And in a season when it looks like things are going in the Mets' way, I'd hate for a bad coaching decision to really turn things in the wrong direction.
Yeah, last year the Mets fired Joey Davis and their assistant hitting coach, replacing him with Hugh Quattlebaum and a new assistant hitting coach, which I did not like the move. I believe Chili Davis was a better hitting coach, especially in the 2020 season when the Mets had one of the best offenses, and statistically, I do believe it was one of the best offenses statistically of all time. But I do not love Eric Chavez, especially after his time with the Yankees last year. The Yankees did struggle offensively a lot, so maybe he can turn it around with the Mets, but I don't know. So that concludes this episode where we're talking about the Mets in February. Hopefully the season starts soon and the players and the MLB come to a negotiation, a compromise. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.